No, I'm not buying it.
Can I just add into that? Because one of the comments, and I think it's in Carl's book, that I found really helpful was thinking about learning as a byproduct of the knowledge creation. And like within the paradigm that we work in, we are always going to assess, at the moment anyway, individual learning, because it's the only way we think about it. But if you take the goal of knowledge building about socialising people into knowledge creating communities, then the individual stuff will be a byproduct of it. Is that kind of?
Yeah, it's hard to imagine how it can't be. And
it's got a story. I would say I had class who plays PlayStation. I'll be engaged as all hell.
They play what all day?
They play PlayStation 3 all day.
Oh,
I'll be
okay.
engaged as all hell. Like they probably wouldn't actually get that.
Oh, okay. But I would argue, I would try to find out. I would use the dimension I would use immediately from what you say is I would say, okay, what's the evidence of idea improvement? If I'm not seeing idea improvement, I don't have a community that's taking collective responsibility for idea improvement. I have a community that's loving playing a game. And that's really different from a community hooked on idea improvement. Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, again, it's not common with it, but it's a good involved assumption to say it's necessarily on the same track.
Well, it's also this notion that we're really going to be looking at change scores, not just absolute, pre-test, post-test, but looking at changes over time. If people aren't going deeper, if they're not interacting more productively, then we would say under conditions with the teacher innovations that get that kind of interaction going, where the norm is idea improvement. So I don't need a teacher to tell somebody, oh, you're not doing X. A student is saying, oh, but how does that work? But can you explain that to me? But yeah, but you've said that 5 times. What's the new idea? Like if you have within the community the power for the movement of ideas, that's what I'm saying. It would be hard to figure out how that doesn't parlay into individual achievement. Yeah, Carl, he's not buying this, so try again.
Well, I don't know, I just going in a slightly different direction. Originally with this research on intellectual engagement, the response to the low engagement was, let's focus on intellectual engagement. Get the students themselves concerned about intellectual engagement. And this actually produced some results, maybe. It produced results on the questionnaires, but we don't know. So teachers spend some time focused on intellectual engagement, and then the next 20 minutes they're spending it focused on doing their mathematics problems or whatever. So it's compartmentalized. And then the questions come up, well, is intellectual engagement a precondition for knowledge building, or is it a consequence of knowledge building? Thing is, if you take a systemic view of these things, there's no answer to that question. They're all part of an interacting set of variables, and that's how we would prefer to pursue it. So it's quite, I think we quite agree with you that going after intellectual engagement as an end in itself is foolish. But taking it, seeing it as an important part of the picture where different factors will influence it, and you're working, one of the markers of success will be increased intellectual engagement. Hopefully on some kind of valid measure that isn't so easily distorted by the students trying to tell you what you want to hear.
We actually have a researcher who's interested in trying an experiment that would meet these criteria. So I don't know if you've seen this software, but it's variant of face recognition software. And so you can actually, from the faces people are making, they have a high correlation with level of engagement. So if I'm frowning while I'm working on something, or if, I'm looking frustrated or I'm smiling, it picks up these different markers of engagement. And so what he's going to do is look at the students while they're on knowledge forum to see what level of are they smiling, are they frowning, or do they look deeply engaged, do they have states of flow. So, but anyhow, this is Earl. There's, I guess, a large enough literature now that suggests face recognition is really picking up mental states. I can't cite that to you, but that's another thing that one researcher is going to try.
Can we let other people ask questions as well? Are there any other questions or ideas they want to share?
I'd like to ask one about seems to be this the element of engagement in constructing the knowledge. To what extent can people build on other people's knowledge if they've not been involved in that construction? So especially when less experienced, I suppose, will come into a discussion that's well through and haven't been able to follow the development. Is the learning going to happen in the same way as the people that are writing around the knowledge?
Yeah.
So where's the best place to position yourself given there's all this knowledge construction?
Right. I can tell you a couple of accounts from a couple of teachers that I find hopeful, but it's a genuinely hard problem. We found that teachers built just a little democratizing knowledge. Democratizing knowledge means everybody is a knowledge producer in the community. I think you're saying what happens if this is not the phenomena, and how in the world can you get that? But so the indicator is pretty simple. All we do is look, is everybody producing, contributing something? And then for everybody who's contributing, do they ever enter a new vocabulary term relative to themselves, which is a sign that they're putting in an idea that they haven't thought before. They're not just repeating themselves over and over. So we're looking at the increment of new conceptual terms and the amount